First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Dzogchen, homage to the 16 Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Dupten Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, the 7 gods of fortunes. Sumo. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. Is Sanchen have left? Our participating VIPs are from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Taiwan, Secretary General Liao's wife, Dharma Sister Judy, accountant to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband Larry, law advisor to the Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou, the producers for the Geni Tensang Shinten from CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, Dr. Ryan Zhuang, Dr. Zhou Heng, from the Sunny Line Dancers from Taiwan, Miss Su Guoying, from the Tian Yayue Choir Group, Dharma Brother Ge, Dharma Brother Lin, Dharma Brother Gao, Dharma Brother Zhang, Dharma Sister Zhang, Miss Vivian Sit, a TV host from Singapore television, and an artist, Dharma Sister Eileen, and from Sao Paulo University of Brazil, a professor of Chinese language, Professor Chen, and Dr. Chen. And Overseas Chinese Association of Brazil, Miss Zhou and Dr. Gao. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Happy Full Moon Festival. Next Sunday, October 4th, 3 p.m., the Homa would be Vajrakilaya or Dorje Purba. So the Homa of Dorje Purba or Vajrakilaya. Next Sunday, October 4th, Sunday, 3 p.m. That's Vajrakilaya Homa. Of all the Vajra protectors and Herukas, the most common would be Vajrakilaya. And very responsive. It's really easy to gain yogic response with Dorje Purba. Of all the Herukas, Dorje Purba is one of the easiest to gain yogic response or spiritual union. So this deity is very famous for subjugation, and he could fly, so he has wings, a pair of wings, here and here. And the wings are like very sharp knives or swords. So he could cut off all kinds of afflictions. And can also dispel all kinds of demonic disasters or calamities. Most purba, or a kind of scepter. So purba also means Vajrakilaya. So it's like a scepter. And for Tibetan sadhaka, they would tie Dorje Purba on their belt. So it's the accompanying protector. So that scepter is called the Purba scepter or Vajrakilaya. And they're all the same. So this one is very broad and functional. So whether you want to be the primary supplicant, if you like to be distracted and bothered by the demons, then you don't need to become the primary supplicant. If you like to experience calamities, disasters, and you enjoy being cursed and cast spells or black magic, and you have really severe obstructions or hindrances, then you don't need to become the primary supplicants if you enjoy those. Now, this is how I mention about being primary supplicant or not. I've talked about the 7 gods of fortune. The first time it was transmitted in Sinju, and they are cultivation methods, procedure, and also the origin of each of the deity, each of the god. Of the 7 gods of fortune, only one is local to Japan, and that's Ebisu. That's the local wealth or god of fortune of Japan. But the rest belong to China. So Japanese Buddhism or Japanese Tantrayana were spread from China. Kukai or Kobudaishi went to Xi'an, to the Qinglong Temple, the Green Dragon Temple, and met the old Venerable Hui Guo, the Venerable monk Hui Guo, and transmitted the Chinese Tantrayana to him. Thai Tantrayana is the Tantrayana of Mount Tian Thai, and the Eastern Tantrayana is the Chinese Tantrayana that spread to Japan. When Kobodaizi took the sadhanas, the practice procedures and sutras, and brought them back to Japan. And when it started in Japan, it was called the Japanese or Eastern Tantrayana. So it came from India. From India, the Subaraksima and San Uwe. And they went to China to spread the Tantrayana from India. That's from India to China. And then the old Venerable Huiguo transmitted to the practicing renunciate, and that was Kukai. After Kukai received the lineage transmission from Huige, old monk, he went back to Japan. So Chinese Tantrayana, Thai Tantrayana, and the Eastern or Japanese Tantrayana. So Chinese, Taoism, Tantrayana, and Japan combined became the 7 gods of fortunes. Ebisu was Japanese, and then there was also Maitreya Bodhisattva, was also the god of fortune. Also Lao Tzu, and also the god of the South Pole, and also Vaishravana or Pishat Mountain, Li Jing, and also Ben Saiten or Lokeswara, and from Tantrayana, the Daikoku or Mahakala. So Taoism, Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism combined become the 7 gods of fortune of Tantrayana of Japan. So in Tibetan Tantrayana, Daikoku or Mahakala is a fierce protector, but in Japan he became really cute. See, this is Daikoku. Japanese Mahakala is of big difference to the Tibetan Mahakala. This one's so cute. And he's holding a hammer and a cloth bag. And if he hit the hammer, the money would fall into the cloth bag. So this is Japanese Daikoku, or the great black heaven. And how about the Tibetan Mahakala? Do we have it here? On the Tanka.
白色马哈嘎拉是6倍哈，6倍白马哈嘎拉。哦，
So the 6R Mahakala.
是这样子，你看是不是很凶啊
See, take a look. Isn't he fierce?
哦。
See This is the blue Mahakala, and this is his look, very ferocious and fierce. But when it went to Japan, it became like this. So the world is very strange. When it got to a certain country and it changed appearances. So this Daikoku is very cute, kind, and compassionate, and holding a hammer. And the more he hit the hammer, the more money you get. And the cloth bag, when he tapped on the hammer, the cloth bag is enlarging, filled with money. This is Daikoku. So why the Daikoku is the key, the primary god of the 7 gods of fortunes? Because we are tantric practitioners, and Daikoku is from tantric Buddhism, and that's the focus of our spiritual cultivation. So the key deity would be Daikoku or Mahakala. By reciting the name of his Mahakala, and the rest of the 7 gods of fortune will also would come along. And this is the mudra of Mahakala. So this is the mudra of Mahakala. And among them, there is the Maitreya Bodhisattva, highly revered both by Mahayana and Tantrayana. Is the future Buddha, the past Buddha of Dipamkara, the current Buddha, the present Buddha of Sakyamuni, and the future Buddha of Maitreya. So Hote is the god of the 3 times, and Ebisu is the wealth deity of Japan, and Jurojin, that's Lao Tzu, and Fukurokuju, that's like the god of the South Pole, and then Bisamonten, and also Bensaiten, which is Lokeswara, or the goddess, the talented goddess of art, music, and knowledge, and debate. So, fortune, happiness, longevity, art, and knowledge, and wealth. So they're all included in the 7 gods of fortunes. Did we miss anyone? Ebisu, Bisamonten, that's Vaishravana, Bensaiten, Fukurokuju, Jurojin, Daikoku, and Hote. They're all included, introduced. Of the Dharma that I transmitted in the Fuyu Lechang Temple in Hsinchu, Taiwan, I mentioned how to visualize the 7 gods of fortunes on your body. Here is the upper primordial palace, and this is the center primordial palace, and the navel chakra is the lower primordial palace, or we call them the 3 Tantians. So we call them the 3 Tians and 3 palaces. At the top of the head, that's Ebisu. Visualize Ebisu there. and Lokaswara and Pisamenten here at the brow, the upper palace. Lokaswara or Pensaiten and Pisamonten or Vaisravana right here at the upper palace. And then visualize the Jurojin and Fukurokuju at the center palace or center Dantian. And then visualize Daikoku and Hote at the navel chakra or the lower Dantian or the lower palace. That's how you should visualize. The 7 gods of fortune are all on your body. It's in the TBS and the ORG. The 7 gods of fortune on a person's body. That's how you place them, how you visualize them. So we practice the 7 gods of fortune to gain good fortunes, including fortunes, wealth, longevity, arts and knowledge, wealth, happiness. So arts, you can play the piano, you can sing, dance, all kinds of talents and arts will be bestowed upon you. And good fortunes, you would enhance your good fortunes by practicing this. And then your positions, you would become officers or gain or attain a high-ranking positions. And longevity, you would gain long life. And then wealth or riches, you would earn a lot of money in your business. And arts and talents. Then your life would be perfect in the world, in the Saha world. If you have this fortunes, positions, longevity, arts and crafts and wealth, then your human life is perfect and you would be really happy and very perfect. And that would be great happiness, great fortune. So if you can do this practice, that's what you would gain in the world. And there are 7 different kinds of wealth in Buddhism. One is the wealth of faith. If you have a pure and the correct faith toward Buddha Dharma, that's called the wealth of faith. Once you believe in Buddhism, you abide by the precepts, then you would gain the wealth due to the precepts. And when you know you make mistakes and you created bad or black karma and you repent, then that kind of wealth is called the wealth due to repentance. And after you repent and you don't repeat it, then that would be called the wealth due to conscience, or that you can listen to Buddha Dharma. That's the wealth due to hearing. And if you have performed charity, that would be wealth due to philanthropy. And when you gain great wisdom, that would be called the wealth of wisdom. The 7 kinds of Dharma wealth. That would be the 7 sacred wealth. So the mundane wealth is different from the heavenly wealth. And these are considered.
那我们今天再谈一下这个大圆满啊，再念一段。
Today, let's continue on the Great Perfection Dharma. Let's read a piece, an excerpt from the book. There's a record of the moment Sakyamuni Buddhas attained Buddhahood or perfect enlightenment. At that time, Prince Siddhartha was seated under the Bodhi tree. He tried very hard to seek liberation. He seek liberation from when he still leak from desire, also from when he still leak, and especially from leaking due to ignorance. He wholeheartedly tried very hard until he reached a realm of true liberation, and his body gradually merges with the Dharma realm. Ultimately, he attained the liberation of the mind. And the liberation of the mind is also called the non-leaking liberation. Now first talk about the leaking from desire. A woman talks to a man. If the gift that you give me, you have given to other people, then I don't want it. So the girl talked to the boyfriend. If what you give me, if you have given the same gift that you give to me to other people, then I don't want them. And the boy said, I give my ex-girlfriend a villa and a Maserati. And when the girl heard that, all of a sudden, she closed her eyes and cried on the boyfriend's chest. Sorry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. Whatever you give me, I like. I like whatever you give me. This is called desire. Desire of a human being. In order to expel the desire for wealth, like talking about the wealth given by the 7 gods of fortune, but Sakyamuni Buddha under the Bodhi tree wanted to expel all kinds of desire of human beings. Isn't that isn't that the other way around? So in the sutta, it was mentioned that first we entice you to come here, and then teaching you the wisdom. If I ask you to come here and then tell you that, oh, you cannot like money, you cannot like villas or nice homes, you cannot like Maserati or Bentley or Rolls Royce, you cannot like Lamborghini, then I would be left alone here. Everybody would have laughed. But I entice you, fulfilling your desire. Like by coming here, you would get contentment from what you want. And gradually I would teach you Buddha Dharma. Once you gain those that you also want to give and transform it to become Dharma wealth, and gradually decrease the desire. And free yourself from the desire. That would be liberation from desire. One is the holy ground, and the other one is the mundane ground. And Buddhism talks about walking from the mundane ground to the holy ground. So Sakyamuni Buddha was seated under the Bodhi tree to liberate himself from desire. There was a sexy, hot girl was driving a sports car and stopped by a policeman. And the policeman asked, "Why did you drive so fast?" And the young girl said, "Because I was bored." And the policeman said, and the young girl asked, "Are you writing me a ticket?" "No." The policeman said, "I'm writing my phone number for you." This is desire. Desire. In order to liberate yourself from this kind of desire, an old lady was driving really fast and stopped by a police car. And when he saw it's an old lady, then he immediately wrote a ticket. "Come on, pay." And the old lady said, "Because I have stomachache and I'm in a hurry to get home." But the policeman said, "Who cares?" Why? And the woman asked why. Because everyone that's caught would say the same thing, that they have stomach ache, that they're in a hurry to relieve themselves. So everybody had an excuse. But if it were a sexy hot girl wearing short pants and very low cut, when the policeman took a look, all of a sudden he became very sympathetic. So it's different. I've told this joke before. An old lady brought her granddaughter to see the Chinese doctor. And the Chinese doctor saw the granddaughter, very beautiful, and she has to take off all your clothes. And then the old lady said that, "Oh, it's not her, it's me that's sick." "Well, then just stick your tongue." So the doctor told the old lady, "Just stick your tongue. There's no need to take off your clothes." Amitabha. So that's desire. So in order to eliminate this kind of desire, it's very difficult. You know, to tell a politician not to get elected for the council or senator or even higher and higher positions, that's possible. Because that's what they strive for all their lives. You know, presidential candidates, if she were beautiful, then she would have got involved in a romance and had no time for presidential election. But look at the two presidential candidates, the female presidential candidates of Taiwan. One that was not elected before, and now she's still going for it. And she was quite popular. And then the other one that was in the legislator, two female candidates. But if they were beautiful, that they would have been so busy. How could they have time to go for presidential election? So these two must not have any romances, and they were not married. They are not married, right?
你看嘛，那个读到博士的，为什么？有些美女都没有办法读到博士。
Who get PhDs, but beautiful ladies
就已经被人家追跑了。
are impossible to get. It's impossible for beautiful ladies to get PhDs because they are always being chased after by boys, so they have no time to study. But the ugly ones, they would get PhDs. So there's benefits and disadvantages of a woman being beautiful. She would have lots of romances if she's beautiful. And everyone likes her. How could she have time to go for presidential election? Those who... Is it okay to say that? We should find a candidate that's pretty good looking. At least, you know, how could we elect people with that look? Because going back to Taiwan, I have to vote. What should I do? When I look at the pictures of those two candidates, I don't know which one I should choose. Could you please advise me? So this is all desire, even for politicians. They have desire to seek for a higher position and status, and they just tumble in the political arena, and it's really hard to get out of it. So Jesus once said, for a rich man to go to heaven, it's like a camel passing through a needle's eye. At that time, Jesus found a very rich man to be... It's very difficult for a very rich man to have faith, religious faith, and go to heaven. The same for politicians. For a politician to go to heaven, it's as if like a camel passing through a needle's eye. He doesn't have time to listen to you. Their social life, their networking. Politicians has to go to 10 or 15 places every day. Whether to a wedding, banquet, or funerals, or birthday parties, they have to attend all kinds of social events. It's never ending. Even if they want to show they're Buddhist, they just come for a short time and then they leave. They don't eat. They just ran through all the different social events. They sit and they say a few words and then they leave. So for them to have a good faith and go deeper into it, with the correct faith and cultivate spiritually, it's really difficult for them. So for a politician to go to heaven, it's the same as a camel passing through a needle's eye. That's the desire in the human world.
这里有一个笑话，
There's this
千万
joke.
不要小看面膜啊，女生用
Please
的面膜，
don't
因为
undermine
它居然能让你
the mask,
安
the
静
face
半个小时
mask worn by women, because it would let you have quiet time for half an hour.
这个也是欲望啊，
That's
这个也是
also
欲望。
desire. That's also
还要让
desire.
自己漂亮一点啊，
In order to look more beautiful,
她一定女生啊，一定要让自己漂亮一
woman
点。
wants to look more
那我
beautiful.
们的这个比丘尼，
And
比丘
our
尼大部分都是素颜，
bhikshuni
素颜
or
没化妆
nuns,
因为比丘
most
尼
of them without cosmetics, they have shaven their
还
hair.
有头发的都会化一点妆。
But those
那
with
比丘
hair
尼如果已
would
经
put
涂
on
那
some
美的，那
cosmetics.
没办法了。
But there's some
已经
bhikshuni who have
弄了这
tattooed
个双眼
their
皮的
eyebrows
也那也没
or
办
cut
法。
their
有的纹了
eyelids
腮红的，
or
纹那个
tattooed
口
some
红的，
blush
那
or
都没办法，
lip
那是
color.
自然事情。
Then
有很多我们的这
nothing
个
we could
也有
do.
上师啊，
There are
也有教授师啊，
masters
还是有
and
带
Dharma
法，
educators
他们
with
也都会
hair,
化妆。
and
都是
they still
都是
put
化
on
妆
cosmetics,
这个你
put
的
on makeup.
它本身就是这个样子，它这个
That's
这
how
一种
women
的让
are.
人家看了，
So that,
我就是觉得有一点很奇怪的一件事情，就是这个样子。
you know, I find
一
something
个漂
really
亮的女生走
strange
过来了，
when a beautiful
看她一
woman
眼，
walked
她
by
瞪你一眼，你看怎
and
么
you
看？
take a look, and
看
she
怎么
would
看？
glare
你化了妆不是
sideways.
要给我看吗？
What are you looking at? Hey, but you put on makeup so
你还
that
瞪
for
我
me
一
to
眼，
see,
你
right?
怎么看？
And you glare at me?
其实他心里很欢喜，对
Actually,
不对？
she
你看
really
他
enjoyed
心里非
that
常高兴。
when you
你不
you
看他哦，
gaze
你
at
把我当
her,
空气呀，
and if you don't even take a look at
那
her,
就很矛
she would
盾
be
的，
upset.
又要人家看，
You want people to take a look at you, and yet at the same time you scold
这
at them.
个所谓女人心呐，真的是海底针，
So the hearts
摸不
of
着的，
women are
摸不
as
着。
deep as the ocean.
我讲了，
It
以
is
前讲那个
untouchable.
神灯的电话嘛，那这个
I
笑
was
话，
talking,
有一个
I
人
was
踢
telling
到
a
那
joke
个
about the
神灯，
Aladdin. Someone kicked an Aladdin lamp,
那神灯就出来了。
and the Aladdin came
Genie.
out of the lamp, the
他出来了，
genie.
他说给你一个愿望，
Okay, you can say
那个人
one
就讲
wish.
啊，
And
我
that
每天
person
要散
said,
步啊，从家门口出来，遇到一条桥，我要绕这个桥绕好远才到公园。
you
你就
know,
给我做一
when I
条
want to
桥，
stroll,
从我家的
I
门
have to
口
from
做一
the
条
front
桥
of
到
my
这个公
house.
园，这样
There was a
我过这个
river
桥
and
就
there's
到
no
公园。
bridge, so I have to walk
神灯讲
around a far
做一
distance
条桥，
to get to the park.
要
Can you please build a
要
bridge?
金属，要水泥，
But the Aladdin said, well, in order to build
要
a
很多
bridge,
很多很
I
麻烦
need
的事。
metal and
算
cement
了算
and
了，你再选第二个
laborers,
愿望吧。
and that's a lot
他
of
说
work. So why
那
don't
这样
you
好了，
say
你
the
再选第
second
三个愿
wish?
望。
Okay, and then he
神
said,
灯
maybe a
就
simpler
问他
one.
什么愿望啊？
So what wish do you have?
什么愿望？他说
And
让
then
我
he
了
said,
解女人的心。
please let me understand
神
the
灯到最后就跟
hearts
他
of a
讲，经
woman.
理就跟他讲，
And the
还是
genie
帮你
told
造桥
me,
吧。
told him, well, in that case, I'd rather build you a
那是
bridge
不可能的事情。
because that's impossible.
今天白天相当热啊。
Today is quite hot. In the daytime, it's sunny, but it's cold at night, and sometimes you would have
西雅图
frost
的天气
in
有
the
一
middle of the
天啊
night.
7次，
The weather in Seattle, within one day,
然后
there are
又
7
来
changes:
又
sunny,
来雨，
cloudy,
又来下
rainy,
暴，
and then
又刮风，
hails,
又下
windy,
霜，
and then frost, and then
一天变
snow.
化7次。
7 changes
女
in a
人的
day.
心呢
That's the heart of a woman. Oh my God.
你能够了解多少？
How much can you understand?
不过讲起来，这个也是欲望，很多的欲望。
That's all desire.
在我们
Lots of
娑婆世
desire
界
in the
财
Saha
金
world.
钱上的欲望，
Desire for wealth, for
美
money,
色的欲望，
desire for beauty,
这个
desire
地
for
位的欲望，
position
地位的欲望，
and name,
食
desire
吃
for
好的欲
food,
望
for
睡
good food,
睡得
desire
非
for
常的
sleep,
甜
sweet dreams, sweet sleep, and forgetting everything.
这就
Those
是
kind
人
of
的
desire.
一个很大的欲望。
Those are the 5 great
释迦牟
desires
尼
of
佛
human
就是要
beings.
脱离
And
五
Sakyamuni
种
Buddha
这一种
wanted to be
人间
freed
的欲望，
from this kinds of
这个
these
才
5
能够
kinds
欲望
of
的解脱，才能够从
desires
世俗
of
的
the
地
world,
方
worldly
解脱
desires.
出来，得到解脱。
Only this way you can gain liberation. From the mundane.
这个也是欲望哦。
This is also
一个男
desire.
人跟太太吵架，冷
A
战好
man
几
fought
天，
with his
老
wife
婆不理他。
and was in Cold War for a few
这一
days,
天回家
and the
见
wife
茶
ignored
几
him.
上摆了6个 apple， 6个苹果，
And then one day he got
各
home,
被咬了一
and
小口。
there were 6
他明白
apples
了
that was,
老婆是
and
暗
each
示
of the
他
apple
要
was bitten a little
I
bit.
home says I home says 新的 I home S
Oh, so he understood
says
that she wanted
这
iPhone
一
6,
次毕竟是我错，
and he thought, well,
就
it's
补
my
偿他
mistake
吧。
this time. Okay, let
于
me
是他拿出一些积蓄，买下了一台
Give it to her.
iPhone 6，
So he
老婆
bought the
先是
iPhone
一愣
6,
但仍然满心欢喜的收下。这时
and
女儿从
the
房
wife
间跑出来说：“
was
爸，
dumbfounded
你昨天
and
买的
accepted
苹
it.
果一点也不甜。我
But
咬
at
了
that
一个
time,
不甜，
the
又
daughter
咬
came
了一个
out.
也不甜。
The apples you
一共咬
bought
了6个。
yesterday were not sweet.
这个
I
老
taste
爸
one, I took a
跟孩
bite,
子
and
讲
it wasn't sweet. The
孩子
second one
也
and
说了
wasn't sweet, and
我
all the
想要
way
尽
6
力
apples. And I bit 6 apples, and none of them was
这个就是
sweet.
物质上的
And
满
then
足，
the dad said,
是物
"Oh,
质上的满
please
足。
be quiet."
我们修行的人就是要解除这个，
So
先把世间的
that's
欲望
fulfilling the
能够
mundane
把它解
desire. So for us,
这个就
first we
变成了一
want
种戒
to
律，一种戒律，一
expel
种戒，
the desire
变
of
成
the
了一种
world,
戒，
and this
就
would
变
become
成
a
了一
kind
个
of
天
precept.
上的法财。
Then it would become Dharma wealth of the heavens.
我们修行人为什么要理光头，理掉这个头发？
Why spiritual cultivators shave their
就是
hair?
要你把欲望全部把它理掉。
We're just
你
teaching
欲望
you
理掉了，你就没有
to
烦恼。
shift off all your
你欲
desire.
望没有理掉，
Once you
烦
shift
恼还
off
是
all your
在。
desire,
你理那
then
个
you
光
have
头
no
没
more
用的，
afflictions.
不
But
如
if
去
you still have desire, you
戴
still
个假
have
发。
affliction, then the shaved heads are of no use. Might as well
你理了
wear
光
a
头就是要
wig.
理掉你的欲望啊。那你欲望
Because
还在，你理什么光头啊？
Shaving off your hair is to shave off your desire. But if you still have desire, what use is the shaved head? Because when you renunciate, you have a mind of renunciation. You have no need for beautiful clothes. You have no more desires. You have no desires for
对
money.
色没有什么欲望，
You have no desires for
对
beauty.
地位没有什么欲望，
You have no desires for positions and
对
status.
名也没有什么欲望，
You have no desire
对
for
吃也
fame.
没有什么欲望。
You have no desire
比较
for
出家人
food.
有些还是
For
吃素
Mahayana monks, they eat vegetarian food. They have no
对
desire
色
for food,
也没有什么欲望，
and also no desire for
还
sleep.
你如果更加那个的，就不躺下来睡，就不倒单，就坐着睡。
And there are even some who never lay down to sleep. They sit all the time. That's quite miserable. So Sakyamuni Buddha was like that. In order to be free from this desire, this is the mundane. So if you can be liberated from the mundane, then you can enter into the holy ground. If you can't be liberated from the mundane, then you would have more afflictions, more problems. Although you're wearing the kasaya and shave your hair, but you're still greedy for fame, for money, for positions, for food and sleep. That's no more to say. That you're still mundane. There's a young man that didn't like his job. So went to the president. And after the president listened to his complaint, he got a raw egg and rolled it from the table to the ground, and the egg broke. And the president took the second egg and rolled it off the table and fell to the ground again, and the egg broke. When he got the third egg, the young man was immediately enlightened and said, "Oh, I understand. You are teaching me to have a strong willpower in order to do a good job." And the president said kindly, what I meant was, if you don't want to do your work, then just get out of here. In Chinese, it's like rolling the egg, is like get out of here. For us, it's the same. If in your Buddhist studies or in your ordination, you don't comply, once you are renunciate and yet you still consumed by money and sex and food and sleep and fame and fighting for positions, then you're not like a renunciate at all. So if you ask me, is it okay for me to do this or that? I'll roll an egg, a raw egg. You might as well return to the mundane life. There's no use to keep you because you look like a renunciate from the outside, but inside you're all the same. You might as well roll the egg, and we're just asking you to get out of here. But Great Master will never do that. Great Master never forsake any one single being. So you need to remember the first motivation that you wanted to cultivate spiritually. That's why you shave your hair and wear the kasaya. And in order to become a holy person, first you have to leave behind the mundane to get to the holy ground. So this is the first one that the Sakyamuni Buddha, under the Bodhi tree, used the first method, which is to free himself from desire. The same with Great Perfection Dharma. You need to be liberated from desire. If you're not liberated from it, then you're the same as a mundane person. So with the shaved head and wearing kasaya, you're cheating on the sentient beings.
所以佛跟这个能够跟宇宙的光明啊
So Buddhas can merge with the original pure light of the universe. It's because you have abandoned desire, so your body can radiate light, and then you can merge with the original pure light. That's the merging of the child light with the mother light. Only then you would attain Buddhahood. If you don't abandon the mundane desire, it is impossible for you to merge with the fundamental pure light. In order to attain Buddhahood, you have first to abandon the mundane desire. But once you have that attainment, then you can return to the mundane, because your heart or mind has the attainment. Then you don't care about the appearance. But prior to the attainment, you need to abide by the precepts of the appearance to bind you. But once you have the attainment, once you can emit the light, that your body can have light. Someone asked me, where does the light come from? From the organs, the heart's lungs, liver, spleen, kidneys would become the 5-color light. Someone asked me. Like Manjushri Mitra, Sri Singha, Guru Padmasambhava, when they were practicing the great perfection Dharma, why could they produce the rainbow light? They transformed themselves to become rainbow light and then disappeared in space. Let me tell you, the heart, lungs, spleen, liver, and kidneys are the 5-color lights. And including all parts of your body transform to become lights. And there's lights on your body, and when the light emits, it melts your body, and then that light would merge with the fundamental pure light. And that's the rainbow light manifestation. So it's most important to have light on your body. And how could you have light on your body? Because you have no more desires. You don't have any thoughts of desires. No desires for wealth, fame, sex, food, and sleep. Then your heart light would be emitted. And then the heart's lungs, liver, kidney, and spleen would become the different colors, and that would then the rainbow light would appear. So where does light come from? From the sun, from the moon, from the stars. Those are external lights. Where does light come from? From your heart, from inside your body, that transform to become light. In practicing Qi, channels, light drops, inner fire. So the merging of the inner fire and light drops to transform into lights. And those kind of lights would be emitted through your skin pores. The rainbow would be emitted through the skin's pores. Then you would merge and melt to become the rainbow light, and this is called attainment. Only this is called attainment. So first, you have to be freed from desires, which is what Sakyamuni Buddha did. Om Mani Padme Hum.